لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. All praise is for Allah. We seek refuge in Him from the evils of ourselves and the consequences of our own deeds. Whoever Allah guides, no one can let him astray. And whoever Allah not guide, no one can lead him to the straight path. And I be witness that Muhammad is His servant and messenger. May Allah be pleased on him, his household, his companions, and those who followed them to the day of judgment. قال تعالى: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. وقال تعالى: يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تسألون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. In the last and آخر سورة الأحزاب الله سبحانه وتعالى قال: يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. In Surah Al-Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Oh, you believe, fear Allah as He should be feared, and die not except as Muslims." In the first ayah of Surah An-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "O mankind, be deedful, be fear to your Lord, who created you from a single person, and from him created his mate. From them both He created the offsprings. And be deedful to the womb. Don't cut the relations of the womb. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always observes." My dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala قال في سورة البقرة: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقولوا للناس حسنا, and say to the people the good. وقال تعالى في سورة الإسراء: وقل لعبادي يقول التي هي أحسن إن الشيطان ينزغ بينهم إن الشيطان كان للإنسان عدوا مبينا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated in this ayah, Surah Al-Isra, direct us, the Muslims, to say what is good. Because if you don't say good, there is an enemy. The shaitan is making enmity between us. And for sure, the shaitan is the enemy of Bani Adam, the enemy of the human beings. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-Fatir: من كان يريد العزة فلله العزة جميعا إليه يصعد الكلم الطيب والعمل الصالح يرفعه والذين يمكرون السيئات لهم عذاب شديد ومكر أولئك هو يبور. In this ayah, Surah Fatir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, whoever looks for the glory, all the glory is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To Him ascend the good words, and to Him ascend the good deeds. There is a lot of examples in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directs us to say the good. In another surah, Surah Ibrahim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave a very beautiful example of differentiation between a good word and a bad word. قال تعالى في سورة إبراهيم ألم تر كيف ضرب الله مثلا كلمة طيبة كشجرة طيبة أصلها ثابت وفرعها في السماء تؤتي أكلها كل حين بإذن ربها. In this ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, an example of good word is like a tree full of fruits. Its roots firm on the ground, very stable, and its branches all the way to the heavens. It gives fruits anytime. In the same ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَمَثَلُ كَلِمَةٍ خَبِيثَةٍ كَشَجَرَةٍ خَبِيثَةٍ اجْتُثَّتْ مِنْ فَوْقِ الْأَرْضِ مَا لَهَا مِنْ قَرَارٍ. An example of bad word, like an evil tree, no one wants it, has been pulled from the ground. See, differentiate between the two beautiful examples? Because in the life, always there is some conflicts, definitely. Then there is some disputes. Because we are not equal. We are not equal in our understanding even. Sometimes, probably a brother said something, you interpret it different. Even in the ayat, when they come to the tafsir, some of the ulama, they differ in the tafsir of the ayat. So we are not equal, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us like that. Our understanding sometimes different, because sometimes different to cultures, sometimes different to education, and a lot of things. Sometimes even from tarbiyah, or from where somebody is raised. So some people in their life, they know always they give good word. And a good word penetrates the heart of any person, no Muslim or non-Muslim. Always gives a very good result. No good word will go to bad results. Opposite to this, bad words always create hostility, and creates hostility, create enmity between people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam rahmah lil alamin, mercy for the humankind. Ma arsalnaka illa rahmatan lil alamin. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said. Lil alamin. That means to all humankind. Whoever get to this deen, and this deen penetrates his heart, he will live with tranquility, and he will live because he worships only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one is better than him, except with the scale what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated in the Quran. And that scale is taqwa. So we know that. Whether you are American or Arab or non-American or black or white, no one is better than the other one, except with one scale. That scale is taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this meaning, when it penetrates at the heart, give dignity, give glory to the living human beings. That is why we noticed, we Muslims who came from our side, we noticed that there is very clear, when non-Muslims here, they became Muslim, they hold in Islam sometimes really stronger than us. Why? Because they were in the darkness, and they came to the light. And someone who lived in the darkness all her life, and or her life or his life, when he finds the light, he knows the difference. But Alhamdulillah, who was born Muslim, he was born in light. So he doesn't know what's the darkness. He doesn't know what shirk is. Allah subhanahu Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the meaning said, in Monday and Thursday, the gates of paradise is opened, except for a person who has dispute with his brother and Allah subhanahu, and then they postpone that until that dispute is solved. That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked us to make amends, islah, bayn al-nas. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the day of judgment, He made amends. He makes sulh between His servants. And there is a story, a hadith, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam once, he was sitting with the companions, and he laughed. The companions asked him, "Why you laugh, O Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam?" He said, "There is two people. They came in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the day of judgment. And one of them came and said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, O Allah, this person, he transgressed on me. I want my right." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to the other person, "Give him what you took it from him, or the transgression which you did it for him." He said, "Oh Allah, I don't have even hasanah." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person said, "Oh Allah, take from my bad deeds and give it to him." That is a horrible situation. So Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, that's horrible situation, and all we know in Quran, that day, any person will go away from his kids, from his wife, because everybody looking a venue, a way to enter the paradise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to that person, "Look there." And that person looked and said, "Oh Allah, I see a paradise of trees, of prayer, of gold. To whom that?" He said, "It's for those who have the price." He said, "What that price?" He said, "Al-'afw." Is to forgive. And you have that price. He said, "Oh Allah, I forgive you." Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "Take the hand of your brother and enter the paradise." So my dear brothers and sisters, whenever there is a problem between individuals or communities, we have the means, because it's stated in the Quran, وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and make amends between you with just. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu said to Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, he was a judge, when two Muslims come to you for you to solve the problem by the Sharia, Let them go back. Tell them go back, make amendments. If you failed, then come back. Because he said the result of the judge, of the verdict, usually it wouldn't make the hearts feel well, even with just. But the amendments, sulh, it clears, it softens the hearts of the Muslims. Softens the hearts of both. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated to us in the Quran always to make taqwa to Him. And that taqwa, my dear brothers and sisters, will not come unless you're sincere in your ibadah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're sincere in applying what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stated to you in the Quran. That leads me, my dear brothers and sisters, to our community, to our masjid. Think about that. Think about those who started this community, who started this masjid. How they suffered to build or to put the foundations of this community, to put the foundations of this masjid, which now we are coming to pray, and we don't even think how this masjid before was built. My dear brothers and sisters, I always say, give an example, that's from me, that the founders of this community is just like the Sahaba of Rasulullah. Remember when the Sahaba of Rasulullah with him? We benefited, we Muslims all, until the day of judgment. We benefited from the action of those Sahaba until the day of judgment. Exactly the same. Now we are benefited from the fruits of those who started this community. So ask yourself, what now I can do for this community? What I can do for the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can I serve the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How can I contribute in imara, in the maintenance of this masjid? Don't say to me, I don't have. You have. You are unique. Everyone is unique. There are some brothers, they donate money, Jazakumullahu khairan, all the time. Some brothers, they donate their time, Jazakumullahu khairan. If you don't have these two, you have your muscles. You have your word. If you know, come to teach. If you can ask other brothers to come maintain the masjid, come. Don't say to me, I don't have. $1. $1 you donated to the masjid, maybe you don't know, would be equivalent to $1,000 whom somebody else donated. Because that is scale. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh, He is the one, He is the generous. He knows the scale. I heard one of the stories really touched my heart. From a sheikh from Al-Khalij. He said, he is an imam. He said one day, a lady came to me. She said, oh Imam, I read a story about a lady, she at the time of Rasulullah, she used to clean the masjid. And one day she died by night. And because nobody cared about her, They took her to the cemetery, they prayed on her, and then they came. When Rasulullah asked about her, they told him that she died. Rasulullah was not pleased. He went again and prayed for her. This lady said to the Imam, and this is true, the coming story is true, said to the Imam, "Oh Imam, I am wealthy, but please give me chance to come, I clean the masjid by myself." He said to her, "No, you can hire, since you are wealthy, you can hire some ladies, they come, or people, they come clean." She said, "No, I want to break my nafs for the sake of Allah subhanahu." So, my dear brothers, bring yourself to serve the house of Allah subhanahu. واستغفر الله لي ولكم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم said, معنى الحديث: إن الشتاء غنيمة المسلم. The shita, or the time of the season of winter, is the prize, an easy prize for a Muslim. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud used to say, مرحبا بالشتاء فيه البركة يطول فيه الليل للقيام ويقصر فيه النهار للصيام. What Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, welcome the shita, welcome the winter, because there is a lot of barakat in this season. The night become long, so you can make extra salah, extra praying, and at the same time your body still can take enough time to sleep, and at the same time the day is short, so you can make a lot of siyam. So I advise you, my brothers and sisters, and myself, to take advantage of the shita. Take advantage of the shita, of this season of winter, to make extra prayer during the night. Still, because you have time, your body have time, and also you can make extra siyam during this season. This is the season which you can harvest a lot of fruits of hasanat, my dear brothers and sisters. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وتولنا فيمن توليت وعافنا فيمن عافيت. اللهم لا تدع في جمعنا هذا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا حاجة من حوائج الدنيا لك فيها رضا ولنا فيها صوت إلا أعنتنا عليها ويسرتها لنا يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم اصلح أبناءنا وأبناء المسلمين. اللهم حبب إليهم الإيمان وزينه في قلوبهم وكره إليهم الكفر والفسوق والعصيان. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا. اللهم أبعد عننا الشحناء والبغضاء يا أرحم الراحمين واجعلنا إخوانا متحابين. وصلى الله عليه وسلم، صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وأقم الصلاة.